Hey y'all, it's your boy Rico.
And Sam.
And we are here to talk about the word passing, the term passing, what it means, and how it is very problematic. To sum up what passing means, I would just say someone that is transgender that looks like the gender they are inside. So trans man, like trying to look like a cis man. Right. That's how I would.
Basically, how I would describe it is someone that is stealth, that nobody can tell that they're trans, and that they don't have to disclose that they're trans to anybody. Not that anybody has to disclose that they're trans, but that doesn't even that's not even like a problem. They'll never have to disclose because they look like that gender. Yeah, they're completely stealth.
Not clockable. You can't tell. Shit like that.
Oh,
I would never have known. Okay, you pass that, and we both loathe this term. I have always found it cringy to hear. And it kind of sucks how right now, for some reason, we don't have a better term to describe it. And I've thought about it myself. It's hard. I can't come up with a word, or at least a couple words to explain something similar without using the word passing. Because I feel like the word passing seems like we're kind of undercover, we're deceiving people, I pass, no one knows, no one has to know,
No, I agree with that.
And at that point, it makes kids, not even kids, people in whatever transition that don't look like the gender they identify with, it hurts them in many ways because, people put passing on a pedestal, that's the goal for all trans people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's something that I always feel really strongly about is there are so many trans people in the world that will never medically transition ever. They cannot go on hormones because of other medical issues that they have, or just because they choose not to. I know plenty of trans people that just don't want to get on testosterone for whatever reason. People that will never be able to afford top surgery, that have a bigger chest, and that binding doesn't seem to help them. People that will never have bottom surgery just because of the price, or they don't want it, or they just don't like it. For whatever reason, there are plenty of trans people that will just never be able to medically transition, but still identify as transgender and still would prefer to have, male or female pronouns if they are trans women, or, they, them pronouns, easier pronouns, whatever, if they're non-binary. And those people might not ever pass, but that doesn't invalidate their gender identity, and it doesn't invalidate who they are, and it doesn't give anybody the right to decide for them what their gender is based on the way that they look and based on the way that they express themselves, whether it's in how they dress or how they act or how they look at anything. Even if a person doesn't pass, you don't get to make that decision that they're not trans enough. And I feel like that's what a lot of people struggle with. It's if I don't pass as a cis male, then I'm not trans enough. That I don't get to be trans because I don't look the part. I don't look the way that I'm supposed to.
Right. And I'm not cis, obviously, but I kind of feel like it's from cis society that makes us feel like that's a goal we need to have. And I feel like a lot of cis people view trans people like that. You can line up 5 trans guys, right? One pre-op, no hormones, nothing. One a year on T, one 5 years, one post everything. And I feel like a lot of cis people will be like, oh, that's a trans guy. That, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's why though? If you line up 5 cis dudes, they all identify as men, but one can't grow facial hair for whatever fucking reason. You know what I mean? One is super short. One is super feminine. One is this tall masked daddy. It's they're all men. Do you know what I mean? Just because. Yeah. I hope that was a good analogy to explain it. I don't know.
No, that makes sense to me. But yeah, I definitely think that it's just like you said, a cis brought on issue that we have to fit a mold that society has put on, whatever gender we identify as. So if I, am a binary trans male and identify as a male, I can't go around and wear a skirt anymore because that means that I don't want to be a man, or I can't wear makeup because that means that I'm not manly enough to be trans, or I can't do anything feminine that will make me pass less if I still want for people to see me as the gender that I identify as. And that's super fucking shitty.
We have experienced a few times, in the very least, people like kind of complimenting us, thinking it's a compliment, but it's not. It's things like, oh, we're trans, like, oh, I could never tell, or I could tell, or maybe a month or so ago, Sam and I were at a club, and we were talking to this random dude. He pointed at Sam, he was like, oh, I couldn't tell, and then pointed at me, but I could tell with you. And I'm pretty sure it was because of facial hair, strictly. He has a pretty thick beard going on, I don't have much. And, if you have ever done that, if you're cis, and you think it's okay, I'm telling you right now, it's not okay. I could see how you could see that's a compliment. Like, oh my God, I could never tell. Sometimes I'd be like, if someone told me that, I'd be like, yes, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
But it's not okay.
The thing is like, we're not trans, and we're not expressing ourselves and living our like truths in order to get your approval and in order to like get you to see us how we are.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we're transitioning for ourselves because this is what makes us feel good and this is what makes us feel happy. And so we don't care if you think that we pass. We don't care if you think that we look like men or not. At the end of the day, like, this is only for our well-being and our mental health. And so, like, to give your opinions on whether or not we look male or whether or not we're trans enough, we don't want them. Like, you can think it's a compliment, and sometimes, it will make us feel good. Yeah, like, it's great to know that all the hard work and all the time and the blood, sweat, and tears that we've put into our transitions are having an effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, being trans enough or looking male enough will never matter to us. It's the same thing with, I know I've discussed this before, like, I've been approached by, people that have known me since before I transitioned. I started going to the gay bars on my 18th birthday, pre-teen, before I even knew that I was trans. And, people have seen me and my progression, over the last 2.5 years of me, like, being on hormones and, developing like facial hair and my face reconstructing and stuff like that. And, I've still dealt with people that have said stuff like, oh, well, I might just change teams for you. Like, you make such a hot man now. And it's like, again, those are backhanded compliments where you think that they would be appropriate, but they're not because they're super invalidating. And it's like, again, like, I didn't transition for you to find me attractive.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if you're unsure about what you're about to say, if it's okay or not, maybe keep that to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the best thing at that point, if you do want to compliment us on our glow up, transition, whatever, just be like, you look good. You look really happy. I'm really happy for you. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my God, you look so good now. I can't believe it. Like that.
Yeah.
Tone it down. Just be like, I'm really happy for you. You look so happy.
Yeah, and like complimenting us on like specific things, like saying, "Hey, your beard's coming in really nicely," or "Hey, like I noticed that you're like, I noticed like how like muscular you're looking, or like how bulky you're looking. I noticed like how like much you filled out lately, and I'm really happy for you about that." Like specific things are cool, but like being like, "Oh my God, I could never have told you you were a girl," like that's not cool. Like I feel like the more specific you get, the better it comes across, rather than like just super generalizing, like, oh, like you don't look like a girl at all. Like that's kind of shitty.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Ultimately, the point that we're just trying to get across is like, passing should not be the end goal for someone's transition. And if that is your personal goal as a trans person, cool. Like, to each their own. Like, we get it. Like, we understand like the want to be stealth and like why people would want that for their lives. Like, that's totally cool, and that's your journey, and like we support that. We're all gonna live our journeys the way we want to. We're all gonna do the things that we want to. And if we say that we identify as a certain gender, or we don't identify as any gender, regardless of how you perceive us, regardless of how you perceive a non-binary person, they can have a beard and still be wearing a dress and say that their pronouns are they them. It's your job to be respectful of that and still use those they them pronouns, rather than be like, oh, well, they're wearing a dress, so like I'm gonna call them she her, or they have a beard, so I'm gonna call them he him. Like, regardless of a person's expression and how they like how you perceive them, it is their job to tell you who they are, and it's your job to be respectful of that.
And also for trans people watching that are super concerned, like it's on your brain 24/7, like, do I pass? Do I pass? I need to pass. I want to pass. I would like suggest like it's gonna be okay if you don't pass to society. Focus on yourself and how you view yourself. Focus on your happiness. Like if you die your whole life you're living trying to like have others see you the way you see you, it doesn't sound like a good life. Focus on your happiness, and if you deep down just want to pass, go for it, but try not to let it like weigh you down all the time you go out. You know what I mean? Because it's something I struggle with too, because I'm at the point where it's like sometimes I do or don't, and it can be a downer sometimes, but like I just look in the mirror and it's like I'm getting where I want to be, and as long as I'm happy, fuck what anyone else thinks, fuck their comments. If you might comment something shady, think twice and probably don't say anything, y'all. Okay? We could deal without a compliment. But honestly, if you're watching this and you have a better term to describe what we're describing other than passing, I would love to know, because I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like every time that we have to use like passing in quotation marks, like we feel really shitty about it. And I know that we've had to do that. We did that in the last video. You know, we've done it in so many videos before, and like we hate that. That's like the general thing.
Yeah, and even I'm thinking now, like looking cis still, but not all trans people want to be cis.
Want to look cis, want to be cis. Like there's so many. Gender is a fucking spectrum, y'all. Like
maybe there isn't a word.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
Regardless, teach their own.
Yeah, if you have a better word, please let us know. Comment below and share your thoughts on this. If passing is important to you and your experiences, passing or not passing, all that fun stuff. All right, you know what to do. If you like this video, please like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe. And we will see you next week, y'all. Bye.